BNP Paribas, partenaire des plus belles histoires de Roland-Garros, aux côtés des ramasseurs de balles depuis plus de 50 ans.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel good. It's one of the, some of the most exciting weeks of the year for me. As we're coming kind of towards the end of the European clay season, so I hope I can finish strong here in Paris with a good result. And I've had 3 good years here in a row, so try to make it a fourth good year in a row. That would be great.
Casper, of course. Casper, here's a microphone. There's the weather forecast is 50-50. Could be heavy, could be sunny. How are you going to prepare yourself and adjust your tactics for either or?
Yeah, I mean the guys who take care of the courts there are doing an incredible job. So whether it's raining or dry, yeah, you feel a little bit different. But if you play on the big court, the court will stay quite dry all the time. That's my feeling, because either with a roof or that they cover the court when it rains, they keep it in a good shape all the time. And the ball will fly a bit slower through the air when it's cold, so you can adjust with maybe string tension. You can go down a bit when it's colder and tighten it up when it's warmer. But I've been able to play good tennis here in cold and warm conditions, and I honestly prefer to play in 20 degrees than 30 plus. I mean, when it gets too hot, it's kind of tough out there, but it's... Last year was some of the coldest I've experienced here in May, June. We played that year in October once when it also got really cold, but I'm hoping that the sun will come out a little bit more, yeah, because so far it's been pretty cold.
Hi, Casper.
Hey.
I'm sort of curious, like, what the process was like after that crazy match with Jannik in Rome, in terms of like you getting back on the practice court, probably playing with someone who was playing a little more of a normal level than what he was putting on there. Yeah. And so, like, what was that like? But also in sort of a larger picture, given that, Jannik is where you would like to be and, you've come pretty close to it. Are there things that you think about that you can do with your game to maybe get closer in that matchup, given that he's going to be around for a while, probably?
Yeah, definitely. After Rome, I took a few days off. I went home. We had quite good weather, so I stayed a lot outside. I played some golf and then started practicing. And yeah, I didn't play someone of Jannik's level in practice for a couple of days, so it was nice to win some more points in practice. But we practiced yesterday, and he was up 4-0 in the first set, like after again, like 15 minutes. So I was thinking, there's something going on here, but after that I got some games back. But I think that you don't look at him as a clay court player because he's had great success on other surfaces, and he doesn't play that higher, heavier topspin ball, but that doesn't mean you can't play well on clay. I mean, I think if you move well and are able to hit strong shots from defense as well on clay, it's kind of hard because I felt when I played him, like, if I tried to open the court, he was there and he just kind of ripped it back. If I tried to play heavier and higher, he would take it on the rise and, wouldn't miss much. And whether you're playing super heavy or not on clay, I think the most kind of frustrating thing for an opponent is if you show that you can hit either heavy or strong shots all the time without too much errors. And then as an opponent, you get that feeling that... I can't outplay, or I can't hit winners on this guy if you move well. So that was a little bit, I never really had the chance to set up that many points because it just felt like it came firing from both sides from him. But I think that I can realize myself that I can maybe also flatten out the shots a bit more every now and then on clay, and not always wait for the ball to come down, that I can maybe step in a little bit more and take more balls on the rise and go for a little bit more, because what he showed me there was that this is definitely possible, even though it's higher bounce and slower on clay.
Hey, Casper. I'm kind of a tennis nerd question, but in your opinion, how much of an advantage is it for you to be able to have the comfort level that you have in movement on the clay, be able to slide into and out of your shots? And do you feel that that really makes you more efficient in terms of a mover and what you can defend and what you can attack out there?
Yeah, I think if you look at the modern game, I think almost every player now are able to slide on the right foot, the left foot, open stance, closed stance, and it just seems like it gets better and better. To me, when I grew up watching tennis, not that many were able to do that, especially on hard court. And when I look at players like Jannik or Carlos, Novak, those who do it more often, it kind of seems like it doesn't matter whether they play on clay, on hard or hard court, because they're able to slide on both surfaces. So for me, I don't slide that much on hard court. I haven't really ever been able to feel comfortable doing that. Sometimes you kind of have to, and but to do it on both legs, open, close stance, whatever, it's really, really impressive. So it comes more natural for me on clay, and I think majority of right-handed players struggle a bit more to slide on the left leg, like it's kind of opposite. But, you know, the best players in the world, they were able to do both. I mean, if you look at Rafa on the surface or Novak, when you thought you had them on the run, on the backhand, they would, you know, open up their stance and, you know, put their feet down and slide and kind of just rip a passing. So that's for me one of the tougher points to lose as a player, because you feel like you've done everything right and you maybe come in on a right shot down to their backhand and then they come up with this shot that is like ridiculously good and impressive. So if you're able to do that, you can win, and you can kind of stick it to the opponent, saying that, you know, haha, even though you thought you had me, I'm going to pass you on my not my strongest leg, open stance winner. So I think that's something that I see most Europeans who grew up on clay are able to do more and more.
Casper, I'm not sure if you know anything about him, but you're from a similar part of the world, so I thought I'd ask if you've seen or played ever with Elmer Moeller. No?
I saw this compilation of this backhand of his that he just was crazy, yeah. That's the only thing I saw, and he's a bit younger than me, so, but yeah. Ask your question. Sorry.
No, but just what did you think of the backhand when you watched the video?
Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of different than most other backhands, but he just plays it with so much confidence, kind of like Benoit, you know, he would go around and rip like backhand inside out. That's like a shot that I would never do. I mean, it's so funny how some players hit shots, and I guess we look at each other. When I looked at that video, I was thinking, wow, I wish I had that backhand. You know, I think I'd be even as a better player. But then at the same time, when he watches me or Alcaraz or I don't know who he likes to watch, but if he looks at a guy with a huge forehand, he probably thinks, oh, I wish I had that forehand, because then I would be complete. You know, it's like we look at each other, and we have to realize that there are some limitations every now and then on what you feel comfortable doing. But yeah, that was a really, really, really aggressive and good backhand. I want to see it live, and I hope I can play him once.
Last two, Howard and Dave.
Hi, Casper.
Hey.
How often during the course of a season would you say that you go out on court for a match without any kind of injury or pain? And I don't know if you saw what Caroline Garcia posted a couple weeks ago on social, but about that idea of the need to play through pain and the sort of glorification of or honor in playing despite injury or pain, and whether that's a difficult thing to deal with as a professional athlete.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think tennis players are not the only one to do it, but a thing that is not, well, tennis is obviously an individual sport, and if you feel some pain, and of course it comes to a limit of how much you can kind of take, but as a team sport athlete, it's easier to sit out a few matches and let your other teammates kind of play for you. But tennis, you can't do that, or you can always, you know, pull out or give walkover, but then you lose points, you lose prize money, you lose earnings, you lose the kind of fear of losing out on a chance is very big, because tennis is really about, you know, keeping your ranking all the time and doing good results. So I've definitely learned to kind of accept and live with that you have to push through pain. I've never experienced like a very bad injury for a long time, luckily, but definitely I would say more than half of my matches that I play, there's something going on that you guys don't know about. Whether if that's, you know, just a small blister under your foot, or maybe a little soreness in a stomach, rib, I mean back, knee, whatever. It keeps, I think I've been through my whole body. Every part of my body has felt some kind of pain already in my career. So it's not unusual, and sometimes you get like really tired of it, and I think that's why players have been asking a little more lately about having a little longer off season for the body to just kind of really calm down and settle and get rid of all the inflammations here and there, because if you do well and you finish the year at the year-end finals, you pretty much only have 5 to 6, 7 weeks before you're kind of obligated to show up in Australia again, and sometimes that's not enough. But it's really a part of the job to manage. But when you grow up as a kid thinking, I want to be a professional player, you don't realize how much pain you will have in your career, and it comes to a point where you just feel like you've had enough, I guess.
Just a little more on that subject, and given what you went through here a year ago when you won the first set in that semi-final and then got so unwell, I just wonder, is that maybe one of the most disappointing moments of your career, to be struck down by bad luck like that?
Yeah, it was. Was really tough. I got some parasite from either water or something I ate, or it could have come from different sources, so it's hard to track down, but it stuck. It was in my body for 2 to 4 weeks, so that was kind of, I guess, day one where I really felt bad, was that match. So it's part of this job and career, I guess. But like I said, I've been very fortunate. I've never had like a really long break or injury where I've had to come back from a several month injury. So I consider myself quite lucky and fortunate in that way. But yeah, not ideal that it happened. And it was, I was really fortunate because I had a walkover in the quarters against Novak, so I had like 4 days to prepare between the fourth round and semis. So I was coming out feeling great, and then suddenly towards the end of the first set, the stomach started causing issues and just felt really tired. But I'm trying not to eat any risky stuff this week and to have it happen again. But it's tough. Like, yeah, some other sports you kind of envy, because whether you're injured, sick, you can kind of let your teammates play for you, or you can sit out a match and then come back. But in tennis, it doesn't work like that. So it'd be nice if that could happen any other day than that day last year, sorry.